Welcome back, folks. It's Sal McRom, and we're back in Vintage Story. It's just a little bit after where I left off in the last episode. And I took care of just a few things off camera here. For example, I've finished the roof of the house. We now have a fully roofed house. I'm still working on this area back here. We're going to have our leather making, which I did actually just pull out just moments ago, quite literally. Our first bit of leather. Look at that. There we go. And, one of the things I definitely want to do this session is get that recurve bow I've been looking at. And I just found a volunteer a few minutes ago over there to get the bush meat we need, and that's another bear. Has moved back into that area over there. And you'll also notice as we play, there's some difference as far as graphics go. You're going to see some different things. And that's because the other thing I did right before I started this episode up is I updated to the latest 1.12 or 2.1 version, which I think if we, doesn't show up in here. But I just updated the latest version, which adds a whole bunch of updates as far as like tweaks to the game and things. For example, if we get our ores out, just grab... I don't know if it's nuggets or ores, but we're going to try it. Let's see here. We're going to try this here. Okay. So you notice we can now stack more than 4. We can put 12 in here. So that's one of the big changes they've made, is they've changed how some of this ore stacking and stuff on the ground works. They've also changed some of the different pottery colors. For example, if we make pottery now, for example, let's say we made more cooking pots, they would now match the color of the clay. Same with the storage vessels and things. You can now color that stuff, which is really cool. And the other thing you'll notice, so I also finished putting in my glass windows. So that's very nice. And there's lots of things they've changed. And another major change is the oceans. The oceans now have fish. And they also look a little different. Now, we're not in a warm enough biome that we have a whole lot of fish to look at in our little section of ocean over here. But we're going to go look at it, because I think you'll almost immediately notice the difference in the way the water looks and the water textures and all behave. Particularly the waves and stuff. The other thing they've done is they've kind of smoothed out the terrain generation now. It probably hasn't affected this area because this area is too close to where I've built. And it will affect new chunks we go to. So you won't have as many of these just kind of like sheer cliffs like we have over there. But they've changed that to make it a little more smooth and more hill-like. So I'm excited to see how that affects new areas we go and visit, because that should affect all the new chunks that we go visit on the map. So these are all things to be really excited about. For example, like one I was talking about, they have coral reefs and fish in the ocean now. Apparently there's something like 33 or 35 species of fish out here in the ocean you can now see. I think they're still working on the freshwater fish, but as far as ocean fish, that's a good number. It's a lot. But as you can already see even from a distance here, look at the waves out on the ocean now. Look at that. That's a lot nicer looking than it was before, a lot different. Now, as I said, we're not close enough to, we're not far enough south to have coral reefs where we're at, but we can go swimming here a little bit. See, there's a lot more. See, we have sea lace. We still have like the normal seaweed and stuff. Did we get anything for seaweed? No, I didn't think so. Okay. But if we were swimming out here and it was warm enough, we might see coral reefs, or a coral reef. Let's see here. What do we have down here? That's just conglomerate gravel again. And then I think if we go to, yep, third person. I think they've improved the swimming. That's what they're saying, the swimming animations. There we go. Still, it's a lot of changes. We're excited to go explore it all over time. Let's get back to what we were doing, though. So we have several things that we want to work on today, obviously. Like I want to get my recurve bow ready. And I want to go mine some iron and some more copper. Just because I'd like to get those brass bars made so I can make some brass plates for making what is it? The brass torch holders, because I think those look nice on the outside of my house. I'm just checking over here. I thought there was one more tree over here that had resin on it. We need a lot of resin for things. I'm going to mark that tree so I don't forget it. But all of that in preparation as we move forward. I think we also want to do something with some of that leather. I know we need to save some of it for our recurve bow. There were some wolves over here earlier when I was just getting back on. I don't know if they've moved off or not. Really active temporal rift-wise out here today. But, anywho, so let's go get to it. And I'm going to go get the stuff we need from the house, put away a few things from my inventory. And then I think we'll go and start poking around at that iron vein over there and see if we can't get lucky and strike iron. So I'll bring you back when we get to that point. Alright folks, it's the next morning. We grab our food that I prepared for this, because I want us to have plenty of food. So we've got 2 units. We're going to take this one. Didn't mean to put that on the wall. We're going to take that one with us, just so we have food for the mines. I also went ahead and whipped up another tin bronze pick. And since our mine that we're heading to is over here kind of past where we've been working on the sailboat, I'm going and taking all the stuff we need to add for the first stage of sailboat construction with us to add to the sailboat. I also planted some more cattails over here because I've been slowly moving more and more cattails in this area to make it so I can harvest them more quickly. First things first, we're going to head over this way. We're going to add this wood to the sailboat, and then we're going to head over to our area where we found that fairly decent iron reading. And we may end up fighting the bear. I'm not sure yet. Still have my bear trap over there. If we end up fighting the bear, we'll go ahead and make that recurve. But we're going to head over here real quick and do this. And try to get to our iron reading. And we'll take a few... I brought my pro pick with me just in case we need to take a few more samples to find like a really good reading. Keep worrying this area is going to fall out from under me since that one area did when we walked through here. You must be getting some wind in the game. Character keeps putting his hand up to his face. It's generally a sign that you're getting a bit of a sandstorm or heavy breeze in these kind of desert biomes. Alright, so we needed firewood and logs, which I brought, firewood and logs. I'm going to build us a birch sailboat. Okay, it really wants me to have the 9 logs first. There we go. And now we need planks and those tools, which we don't have. I'm going to go leave this firewood, or well, the logs over here. It won't hurt nothing to have it with us. It'll slow down our mining a little bit, but that's not a huge deal, because we're just going for some iron. As long as the iron's of decent, you know, grade, and not like poor or something. Assuming we even find iron. Then we'll be alright. Our iron reading was up in here. There's also copper, so decent, poor, decent. So it's actually higher down this way, so we'll actually go over this direction, which is even closer to where I saw that bear. So we might be hunting a bear first. Just gonna keep grabbing flint on the way. We're going to need a lot more flint because I'm going to have to make some more fire clay here soon. Hello, rabbit. And we got chickens. But I need to start a chicken farm soon. What do we have here? Oh, that was chicken. Second there, I thought that was another, like, clump of sky iron. I actually found a clump of sky iron. I've walked fast. I don't know how many times. So, yeah, there's that one. And so we're near this one. So let's go over this way and take another reading, like over there. Go ahead and finish off this bowl of food I'm carrying around. Gotta keep an eye out for that bear. I saw him over here earlier. I think this is about where I built that bear trap, isn't it? No, it was further over this way. There it is. It'd actually be perfect, so... Let's go see if our bear is still right over here. Oh, we got a fox. Not the animal we're looking for. Let's see here. Where is that bear? With my luck, he's going to come charging at me out of the bushes again. It's kind of light down there. There's something down there. But I definitely saw him up in this area just about 10-20 minutes ago. Real time. Like 2 days ago. Real world. Or in the game. And there was something there running from me. Granite. Go and get a spear out, just so I can throw it if need be. Not that that's good to... There he is. Come on. There we go. That got his attention. Ooh, he got me. He got me once. Oh, right. So if you noticed, when I took health damage, that bar slowly decreased. That's because that's one of the changes they made. They finally implemented the change to the healing system. I think you just killed that poor fox. He's being dodgy. How many arrows I got left? 2. And a sword. Okay, got some of my arrows back. I had gotten 1 arrow back. Alright. Okay, he keeps thinking about attacking me, but did not. Which is an indication that I've gotten his health down kind of low. There he goes. Ooh, I don't know how I didn't get it there. Oh, we got him. We got him. Alright, he had good weight on him, too. Oh, look at that. 14 bushmeat. A bear hide, which, that's new. We can use that to make bear armor now. I don't even know how you make bear armor. That's a completely new thing that I have to investigate. But there we go. Now we're going to break the bones, because the bones are also useful. We can use them for farming and other things. And we've got this fox here, who was partially eaten by the bear because the bear killed him. At least I'll get some bushmeat out of it, so that's good. And small pelt. And small bones. Interesting. We have a lot more stuff than I expected to have. We'll drop the dry grass. Just because we got some more small bones. Alright. I'm gonna head back to the house and figure out how we make this bear armor now that we can. We can also use it, I think, to make leather still. But I might be interested in making that bear armor. Okay, let's get back over to the house here real quick. And then I promise we'll actually get to the mining. But the good news is, the bear was not far from the house. So, there's the house right there. Alright, let's see here. So first things first, let's put away some stuff. Like the animal fat. I think I was storing in the pantry. Well, cellar. Pantry, cellar, same thing. There we go. Yeah, I'm actually going to move all that into this other jar here. This is kind of like my fat jar. I do know we need 2 pieces of meat, so we'll put that in there. I'm going to put the bear hide in here for now, just to keep it fresh. It'll turn to rot. It's an ingredient for oiled bear hide. Okay. So if we soak it in lime water, we can then make a scraped large hide. Okay, that's just for making leather. Let's go back. Oiled, right? So curable bear hide. Brown bear pelt. Yeah, okay, so we have to use fat to cure it, and then we can use it to make armor. We can use it to make this body armor, which is 1 brown bear pelt. And we have a brown bear pelt with head. Okay, so that's the difference. Some bones. Healing effectiveness. It's better armor than what I think we currently have. Yeah, it is. So these protection tiers you see, like this is tier 1 and that's tier 0. That's basically flat damage reduction against different damage types. So, for example, if you see a bear is like damage tier 2 or 3, meaning that if your armor doesn't meet that, you don't get as much protection. Where if their damage tier is that or lower, if I remember correctly, you get even more reduction to the damage you take. So now this has slightly better protection, but it's not. But it's a lower tier. But the bear armor has less downsides. Like it has less healing effectiveness downside, less hunger rate downside, less ranged weapon accuracy and charge time, and less, but the same decrease to walk speed. So that's actually not bad. Now, how do we repair this? Has better durability too. Same flat damage reduction though. I don't know. I don't know if this is worth making. Because I could also use this to make a whole bunch of leather. I think I'll use it to make leather. As much as as tempting as it is to get the put it in the thing. As tempting as it would be to get the bear armor, I think I'm going to use it to make leather instead, just because we can do a lot more with the leather. There we go. All right. Now, need our recurve bow staff here. So to make our recurve, here we go. We need 2 units of meat, which we have, the bow staff, which we have, some bones, which we definitely have, and then the black's twine and leather. So we should have all of that. We only need 1 leather, which is right there. Got the bones here, the meat, the bow staff, so now we just need the twine. That's the wrong box. There's my box. So we're going to have to make a little more twine. That's easy enough. We'll just make a couple extra. There we go. Bow staff. Meat. Bones. and hide. And there's our recurve, which is greatly improved compared to our crude bow. Because notice this has 3 piercing damage and minus 5% accuracy, where the recurve has 4 damage and plus 30% accuracy, so it's a lot more accurate. Now, we are using these flint arrows, which are not great, so we're going to have to upgrade arrows at some point. But there we go. We now have effectively the best bow in the game that I'm aware of, I should say. What can I do with these animal bones? We can grind them into bone meal. That's it. Okay. Well, we're going to go throw that in here then. I guess I did that to reduce the number of bones people were getting. My guess. There we go. Put all that away. Alright. I can put this firewood away as well. I can put this... Nope, I did not want the peat. I can put this wood away. There we go. That clears up some space nicely for us. And now I think we're ready to go mining. Alright. With that, back to our mining. Now that we've cleared the bear out of our way. And we've gotten a nice bow. Alright. So, our mining spot should be just over here. I'm going to go ahead and feed our character real quick. Oh. Just realized I forgot to put this hide away. Now I'm going to go put the hide away real quick. Just because we're going to need lots of leather for things, because I want to make some leather backpacks. As they're kind of the second to last tier of backpack in the game that you can get. I'm going to put this here. Let's put the food down there. There we go. There we go. Okay. But they had 6 slots per backpack if you make the leather backpacks, whereas the cloth sacks I'm using, the linen sacks, only add 5 each, which, you know, 4 extra slots is still 4 extra slots. Then, of course, you can use it to make, you know, leather armor, which is really good. It's got a better damage protection than the bear armor, with about the same amount of downsides. Okay, I can't resist more flax. You're always needing flax. Okay, but let's get over here and do another prospecting check. Especially since we have granite over here. Now, we're not seeing anything on the surface. It's really indicative of anything, but so we had a decent reading over there. So let's go just dig into the ground over here somewhere. Oh, I didn't even know we had some spelt up here, so I'm going to mark that. Spelt's really good for growing during the warm months, so I'm going to mark that, keep track of it. So what we'll do is we're going to break these leaves out. I need to get my shovel. And what I like to do is kind of like dig a little shaft until we get to stone. And there's stone. Perfect. Alright, so now we need to go this way a little bit. And that'll be pretty close to fine. We'll do one more. There we go. And we'll just do the same thing on this side. Alright. And then we can get our pro pick. And what we can do is we can do sample here in the middle. That's up. So I was about to do short range. We need long range. There's one. And then we can do this one. They have to be at least 3 blocks in between your samples. And that's why I spread out like this. Alright, so it actually went down. Interesting. So, it's down over here. It's higher there. Lower there. So this is our highest reading so far. It's pretty low over there. Interesting. So it couldn't be in between the two. So we'll just go sink a shaft over here at this decent reading then. Alright. So back over to our other reading. I expected it to go up more. Alright. That was just over here. Right? Yep. Just right over here where those flowers are. Let's do one more up here. Just for fun. Not that I expect the reading to get much better. But we'll check anyways. It'll be easier to do it from this side over here. Oh, right. That's it. Hearing that elk scream in the distance reminded me of one other thing that they've added with this particular update. And that is the ability now to capture and tame your own elks without having to buy them from the treasure hunter merchant. So, you know, in our last episode, we went to the treasure hunter merchant and we started the main storyline here. It's still worse up here. So it's still the highest down there. All right. And one of the rewards for completing that first step of the storyline is he'll sell you a tamed rideable elk, so you can get like a mount to ride around. Very cool. Well, the community was always talking about, wouldn't it be nice if we could tame our own elk? And they heard us and were like, you know what? Sure. And so now, in this update, one of the things you can do is you can get traps and capture your own elk and tame it. So that's something we'll definitely be trying out in the future. Alright, so let's take... put our hay bales here. These on the hot bar. We're going to need ladders as well. You know what, I'm just going to use up the last of this shovel real quick to get it out of my inventory. Because I can also use the dirt to make more support in the mine. There we go. Alright, cool. So, let's see here. I took the reading basically right up there, if I remember correctly. Which means I could... yeah, I took it right up here. So what I could do is we'll just sink a shaft down right here, I think. The other thing I'll do is I'll do, like, actually, do this. Then I can put a dirt block there to prevent cave-ins. There we go. That gives me a little sheltered area. Cool. Now, we'll go down. And we'll take our ladders and get them back on the hotbar. And what we can do, put a ladder there. And we'll just sink one down every few levels here. Just save ourselves on ladders. And I'll bring you back in case we find something interesting. Alright, folks, I had to go make some more ladders, but we're back in the mine. We've made it down to level 53 and still have not hit iron. But magnetite can be pretty deep. It can be down all the way to like 3 above 0, so level 3, basically, which is pretty far down. We're going to keep going and just see if we get lucky. I'll bring you back as we get further in. I just wanted to give you an update that it's taken a bit more time than I've expected. Alright, folks, we're back at home. After going all the way down to the mantle at my current highest reading of iron, which is this magnetite, or magnite ore. And I went all the way down to the mantle, and I wore out my pro pick, and just nothing. Found no signs of iron. I did find a quartz vein, which I mined out a little bit of, just to have some of, but and also in the hopes that it might run into an iron vein, but it did not, so I was not so lucky. So we're back at home using one of my precious tin bronze ingots that I currently have to make another pro pick. So we'll get that made, and then I think we'll have to do some more poking around to see if we can't find a better iron reading here. See if we find something with a better look here. Let's see here. I'm not seeing. We got magnite up there. Might be over in this area, even though this is my highest reading. So, one of the things I've been reading as I've been doing this is magnite actually has like the lowest chance of spawning of the iron ores. Even if you get like a decent reading, it's like a 3% chance or something. And that you're better off with a hematite, which has a higher chance of spawning. Alright, we need a propic. Alright, now the rest of this should just be snipping. Propics are actually very easy to make. The next playthrough I do that isn't vanilla. Oh, I must mess that up. Oh, come on now. Oh, there we go. Let me do it. Alright. I about messed that up. There we go. But as I was about to say, the next playthrough I plan to do, I'm going to use some of the blacksmithing mods that let me have, like, you know, where I can recover pieces of metal and stuff from my smithing. Alright, there we go. I will need to get another thing of food, but thankfully I already have some made. Alright, so I'm going to go do some more prospecting, and I'll bring us back if I find anything of interest. Alright? So we'll see in a bit. Okay. So we're going to bring you back briefly, because I was exploring this little cave, kind of in between my two magnite readings, and I found a better reading in this cave. However, it seems to be very infested. But it also looks like there's an entrance over here, like that entrance over there might actually lead down into this one. So we're going to go around. One, to see if we can chase out some of the locals a little better. And two, see if we can't get a little deeper. Because if that cave's showing better readings, it might be more what we're looking for. I believe that's this cave here. This side, where I found that ruin. Yeah, there's the drifters that were throwing rocks at me. Nope, you stop it. That's all I wanted. Okay, well, he despawned, or broke apart anyways. So I also feel like there might be stuff back further in this little ruin, but we're gonna poke around a little bit. Now I heard... Yep, there's a boat one over there. Oh, hello. That sounded very unfriendly, whatever that was. You are being very rude, Mr. Boathorn. Did I get them all? Is nope. We're gonna have to leave soon. Escape. There he is. He's a deep Boathorn. That explains it. These are a bit more dangerous than your surface Boathorn. Oh, we got a bow and arrow. That's new. Never seen that before. Okay. We may have bitten off slightly more than we could chew here. Let's set a little wall. We have some cover. There we go. That's a deep drifter. Guy's hitting a little harder than I'd like. Ooh, got a temporal gear though. I will take that. That makes the fight down here worth it. I'm gonna throw down a few more blocks just for a bit more defense here. That should keep them mostly out of my hair. There we go. Alright. Now I am gonna have to get a way out of here. Because I think the exit's over there, actually. While we're here, we're going to take a little sample. So let's see here. We'll do that one. We're going to do that one. Just because we can. And now we need one more. So we'll do this one. No, it actually went down up here. So, interesting. Higher over there. So it's like it's over here, maybe. That also answers our question. So now I just got to get out of here. Alright, we rushed the boat one. That's the plan. He's not going to want to fight in melee. Yep, there we go. Now that he's retreating, we can take the ladder out. Interesting. So it's not where I thought it was. But that was good information. And good loot. So we got a temporal gear. You can go check over here real quick. Not that I expect it to be any better. Do that one. Then we'll do one down low. Because as long as they're more than 3 blocks apart, it's supposed to count. There we go. And then we can just do like one right here. Yep, it's even worse over here. So yeah, it's definitely got to be over this direction. Alright, I'm going to go over here and do another reading. Still curious about this bow and arrow. I've never seen that before. That's got to be something they added in this update. Anyways, I'll be back in just a second after we do another prospect over in this area. Okay. So we're at 0.7% here, 0.77 over here, and 0.62 here. So it's almost like dead in the middle of these three. So almost like right here should be our best chance, I would think. So let's do one more sample, even though doing samples this close is not the most effective thing. So I'm going to do one more sample real quick and bring it back. Alright, so we got a 1.9. That's higher than anything we've gotten so far. So actually, I'm going to go this way a bit and see if it goes up. And I'll bring you back after I do that. Okay, so it's gone back down. So I think our best reading is going to be that 1.9. Then we're starting to get native copper over here, which makes sense considering some of the other readings we've got around. I'm going to guess there's probably a native copper vein somewhere in this direction. Yeah, looks like probably up this way. Probably where that waypoint I found over there is. Anyways, alright. So I'm going to go back and get some more ladders, and we'll sink a shaft down there at that 1.9, see if we can find anything. I'll bring you back after we do that. Alright folks, I'm going to bring you back because you hear that sound in the game. That is a monster known as a bell that we've upset. And for those who don't know, a bell is a monster that causes other monsters nearby to react. So that means we're near a cave of some sort. With a ruin, probably. I'm gonna do a little check, see if we find any iron. Okay, folks. We found the cave that we're hearing the bell in. It's got some really nasty monsters in it, so we're gonna back out for a bit. We're just gonna block that off for a moment. We are not geared up for that, but I just want to see if we can find it. I'd be tempted to go explore that cave. I'm gonna mark this on the map here. And see like a deep cave or something here. There we go. Still no iron. Went all the way down to the mantle again. So we are not having any luck with iron. I'm gonna have to work on getting some better armor so we can go explore that cave. Alright, folks. I think we're just gonna have to call this episode there. Because clearly I'm just not having any luck finding iron. So I think I'm going to have to do some more prospecting and search around a bit more. And probably what I'll do is do that all off recording and then bring you all back at some point. But I want to thank you all for joining me in this adventure as we looked for iron and continued working on the sailboat a little bit. And mostly just did some things around the house and base, all in prep to try and journey north to do the first story mission of the Resonance Archives. So, thank you for joining me. This has been Thalen McRom playing Vintage Story, and I want to give a special shout out and thank you to my Patreons who support this channel and make all this possible. Thank you all, and you all have a great one.